Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will continue with our chapter Basic Skills and Landforms, and this is part 5, which is the last part. So let's get started. Our first heading for today is the Earth's plates. The figure 1.31 is taken from your book only, from page number 14. This figure shows the earth as if it has been cut in half, and it shows three layers that are core, crust and mantle. The core contains the molten material which is very hot and is the center of the earth, while the crust is the thin outer layer made up of solid rocks, and the center layer is known as mantle, made up of hot and semi-liquid rocks, as it is shown in the figure that is on your screens. Now this figure 1.32, this figure is available on page number 14 in your book. This map is showing that the section or plates, which clarifies that the crust is divided into large separate sections, which were at first imagined by the scientists of 20th century, that the crust is round the mantle, just like the uncut peel of an orange. But later, after working on it, the scientists discovered the true fact and explained it in the form of the map, which is showing the separate plates of the Earth's crust. That is this, which shows these separate plates, which is American plate, that's here, the Pacific plate, which is here and here as well, the African plate, the Nazca plate, Antarctic plate, Indian plate and Eurasian plate, right? This key is helping to read out the map, which states that all these black lines are the boundaries of the plates. All these black lines are known as the boundaries of the plates. These are showing the boundaries of each and every plate here, while these arrows, the arrows here with the black, they are showing the direction or the movement of the plate, right? All these arrows which are made here, this with the help of this key, it is helping us to read this map very clearly and to understand it as well. It is just showing that all these black lines are showing the boundaries, while these arrows are showing the movement of the plate, each and every plate or every section. Next heading is Nature's Tools, Weathering and Erosion. It states that there are tools that are made up of natural things and can be very beneficial when they are worked on. That is, when cut, smooth and polished. In olden times, natural tools were used to shape the volcanic rocks, and they were used to convert it into the pillars. They were used to make marble ends for the bookshelf, as it is shown in the figure 1.33 that you can see on your screens. These things were shaped with the help of the tools mallet, which is a hammer with a wooden head, and chisel, that is a long bladed hand tool. These nature's tools are known as weathering and erosion, which are also used to break down the rocks that make up the landforms. Let's see what weathering is in detail. It states that this is a process which weakens and breaks down the rocks at the Earth's surface. It is expressing the same thing which I explained in the previous slide, that is, it breaks down the rocks that make up the landforms, right? It is divided in three kinds. First one is chemical weathering, which states that rocks are made up of minerals, and when those minerals are changed by any chemical reactions with the oxygen and carbon dioxide, it may get weakened and then break down. Second is biological weathering, which shows the rocks which break down at or near the Earth's surface. When small insects burrow or dig into the ground, it loosens and the rocks it loosens the rocks and then makes the cracks deeper and then breaks it into pieces. While the last but not the least is physical weathering, that is the third one. It also shows the process of breaking down of rocks, but without any chemical changes. They fall down slowly and then the cracks becomes deep and wide. The alternate heating and cooling of rocks. It explains the expansion of rocks due to sun's heat and the contraction due to the cold temperature at night, which weakens the rocks, and then at last it breaks to the gorge. That is gorge is a narrow valley between the hills and the mountains. It just breaks it into pieces. The other thing is the alternate freezing and thawing of water in cracks. It shows that the water freezes in lower temperature and the ice covers more space than water. Then it forces the ice to crack down, and when the temperature rises, the ice thaws, which means it becomes liquid or it becomes a bit soft, and then it weakens the cracks and produces more cracks, and lastly it just breaks off. Our last heading for today is erosion. It states that the movement of rivers, the seas, glaciers and the wind erode. Erode means anything that gradually destroys, right? The rocks, and then carry or transport the destroyed rock material to other places where it is deposited. Now the figure 1.34 that you can see on your screen, it shows some strange rock pillars. This is a picture from Turkey. The rock is formed with 3 types of lava from 3 volcanic eruptions. All this explanation is written in your book. The wind has destroyed this cooled lava and it smooths the marble with the tiny particles of sand, which transports the wind away and converts these volcanic rocks into strange shapes that you can see in the figure. The shape of the pillars are completely strange, right? Then figure 1.37, that is the other picture that you can see on your screens. It shows the caves which people dug out of the rocks, right? These caves are made of rocks. The Turkish people used to live in these caves until about 50 years, and then they started living in the modern houses that were built by the government, that were built by the Turkish government for them to live there. Finally, our chapter is finished here. This chapter is having 5 parts. Must read the chapter for better understanding. I hope this will be beneficial for you. Do read the chapter, that is must, or else you won't be able to understand the explanation completely. Compare the explanation, and then you can ask me in the video meeting if you are having any question regarding the video or regarding the chapter while reading. We'll be starting with our new chapter in the next part, inshallah. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.